Hey guys, what's up? Firefang92. Trying out a new little format thing here. Gonna be post-commentating this game I had earlier. So we just do rock, paper, scissors to see who starts, and I win and decide to go second because it's the stride era and I am not stupid. We both ride just, whatever, 7Ks. And he takes the first damage. Nothing too substantial yet. You see Nubatama on the left is me, and Shadows on the right is my friend. Just a very standard game so far. Just riding and attacking. Believe you're about to see me, bind with the bear, whose name can never be remembered. He guards with 10 because he really doesn't want to lose his David. It was a risky play, but it paid off for him in the end. It actually should have been, that was an 18 attack on the side. Kept a strong side column because it's actually quite common to get stopped when you bind something with the bear. Because no one wants to lose their starters. I take a crit right there, which, a little bit inconvenient, but I push on. I was hoping to be at 2, because, one of Nubatama's prime moves right now is, the, surest stealth dragon you see here that, counterboss 2 to bind 1 from field and 1 from hand. Very aggressive move, very good. I hit a crit there. Yeah, I really love going into it anytime I can, especially early game, where that -2 to opponent is, really very substantial. I wish that, that the dragon, powered up by more than 2 for each bind, because I find that is the move I'm making most turns, and with the 7K booster, that just puts him to 20, which is an awkward number. But if you do get the 8K booster, my friend there calls out another copy of David when he strides into Orgazer to make his Orgazer a +1. A very standard move, but good move nonetheless. Calls out Claudus and has to hard call a Swordbreaker from hand. That's always an unfortunate move. He goes after my aggressive rear guard, which is a smart move on his part. He wants to get rid of that, but I'm going to guard it. And I'm willing to take...
20 minutes. Let's do this.
He actually sacked too much for that. Just noticed. I'm willing to take this attack because, again, I want to go back into the sure stealth dragon. And bind from his field and hand again. Any time I have the opportunity to do that, it's a very solid move. I'm gonna... you're seeing me stride right now, so that I can make that move. And you're gonna see me call out another one of the dragon. Sorry, can't remember his name right now. But this is actually a very good use for him, even if he can just get, like, 1 bind with the bear. He's a solid 11K attack on his own, which is nice. Adds a little bit of consistency to the deck. Nubatama is actually very interesting in my opinion right now because it requires a lot of striding despite not having any form of stride era support. I hit a draw trigger, give the power to the weaker line so that he needs a 10 on either, on both sides. Unless he wants to go to 5, which he ends up doing. Him going to 5 is pretty good for me as I have a full field and I can continue to muster attacks. He goes into Diablo. Pretty obvious move, just wants to try and press my resources as hard as possible so that he can maybe make a comeback later in the game. Unfortunately at this point, he has to call down 2 critical triggers to even make use of the effect. I've just been pressing his resources way too hard. I've minused him 4 at this point with my strides. But he's got to make the move that he's got to make, unfortunately. I ask for confirmation that I have to retire 2 off of that effect because I don't want to lose my Kuroko in case I have to use it later. But I do have the Nullify, so I nullify that attack. And he just goes into drive checks. I don't have any counterblast here, so there's not a lot of moves I can make. This is a situation where it might be nice to have the Break Ride, but I just decide to stride into the one that makes the opponent discard if it hits, because at least then I'm swinging with stride power. And I call another 11k in case he decides to Diablo me next turn. I want to have the field presence, even if he rides into Blaster Dark, so that I won't have to be sacking all my important cards. No triggers there. Trigger would have been helpful to sort of finish him off, but I don't get the trigger. He ends up having another turn, but he hasn't pressed my resources very hard. He's only had a couple of rows this entire game, so my hand's pretty huge, and I'm just ready to deal with whatever's coming out. And lo and behold, it is the Diablo, I believe. Oh, right. This is the point in the game where he makes a mistake. He meant to grab a copy of Diablo. He grabbed a copy of Horror Gazer. It was no big deal. I let him just reset because, you know, who cares? Yeah. A little bit of a faux pas there, I suppose. This is just kind of his last hope situation. He wants to really dig his heels in and hit me hard with Diablo. I believe he has a 12k and an 11k on the sides there. Kinda hard to see. Okay, so this is the point where, yeah, he has a 12k attacker there, boosted by a 7k. I take the damage, though I have counterblast to work with. He sacks 3 to use Diablo again. I get rid of my useless grade 3 and a boosting Dreadmaster because I know he's not going to hit, and I have the perfect again. And then over there on the other side he has Fierce Bow, so he can still make an aggressive push despite not having the rear guards. This might be a good situation to mention. I kind of wish that Nubatama had unflippers, because we're using a lot of counterblast right now, and we don't really have anything to... I mean, there's a lot of things that I wish Nubatama had that they kind of don't have, because we just don't have the support yet. We'll see. I call out another copy of the Bear so that I can make the Dragon into an 11k and get 3 rows swinging. I decide that I'm better off with the 3 rows than dropping the 2 and the 1 in my hands to stride, because he only has 3 cards in hand, and 5 damage. And lo and behold, that ended up working out for me, and I take the game. Well, he did manage to miracle heal out of the first 6 damage. But fortunately he didn't end up having enough to survive both. So that was the fight. Glad to see you guys again. Firefang92, signing out.